playing Milwaukee.
Yeah, solid victory.
That's a dub. They're eating them. They're like friggin' Jameis Winston or whatever. You hungry? You hungry for some dubs? They're just eating dubs, bro.
Sucking on his fingers.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's not how you get a bunch of grown men riled up. I bet. Everybody's like, yeah. Oh.
I want to know what that tastes like.
Let me taste that W.
Dwight Howard being on that. He's like, how do I play for the Lions? Is that is that happening? Or
you'd be a hell of a tight end. Yeah, haircut. My hair's weird.
You want a hat?
It looks like shit.
It does kind of look like shit, doesn't it? Looks like
it
my
looks
head's
fine.
Sticking out. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen thumbnails from previous ones, but you look great.
Ouch. That can hurt. All right, let's get this moving. Huh?
Welcome to episode 25 of the BDE Sports Talk Podcast, the Silver Jubilee, as we'll say, the silver anniversary of our podcast. Fellas, we're 25 in.
How many people already stopped listening? They're like,
I was looking for something
I've
for
had
the
enough.
25th.
They're like, all right, that was good.
I was looking for the 25th, something for the 25th, like a bicentennial or whatever. No, there's nothing. Best thing I
It'd
come
be a
up with silver
centennial or whatever.
The quarter centennial. So, fellas, welcome to this week. Appreciate you joining us. I'm the host this week. I'm the host just for this week. Still trying to decide if Dean or Eddie are going to host next week. I think it's going to be Eddie again.
Oh yeah,
I'm too depressed all the time.
Jeez,
it's like,
guys,
welcome to the pod.
I'm not wondering how we're not retaining people at this point.
Hey, you got to talk about these things, man.
Right. Bill's like, welcome to the Silver Jubilee. And then he's like, I could be done tomorrow and it'd be good.
The week prior, Eddie's talking about tingle levels.
Yes. Were we not tingling?
I'm tingling a little less now.
For a whole week.
Some would say I'm soft now.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. So, fellas, not a great week for sports. I mean, college-wise, it was pretty good for both of us, for all three of us. Pro sports, not going too well, especially with the Lions on the bye week, but we do have them coming up this weekend. Speaking of weekends, how was your guys' weekend?
That was good.
It was good, man.
Yeah. Real good. Go ahead.
Yeah? What do you got?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't do much, to be honest with you. I didn't do much, but I did piss off this old guy at Meyer.
Perfect.
Which I don't know. It really entertained me at the time. I was walking. I was with my daughter, her mom. We were going to pick up a couple things, and we were kind of taking up an aisle as we were walking. And I saw like an older dude like coming up behind us. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I like step behind them so he can get by. And as he's walking by, I'm like, excuse me, I'm sorry about that. And I mean, he may have been held up for like 2 seconds, right?
Polite.
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah. No, I was just trying to be nice. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get over here. And I said, excuse me, sorry about that. And he looks at me pissed off, and he like grumbles something at me. And I go, you're welcome. And he like looks back really mad at me again still. And then he's like itching the back of his head with his middle finger, like flipping me off.
Okay.
Or whatever. So I start laughing like obnoxiously loud at him.
Yeah.
you know,
Of course,
as
that
I'll
checks
do.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
that checks out.
Yeah. So it adds up. And I was like, I can't hear you over the sound, because he had like this nasty, like old flannel shirt. I was like, I can't hear you over the sound of your flannel or something like that. I don't know. And he keeps walking away. And so I laugh louder. And they're like, I will beat an old man's ass at Fire, is what I said.
Yeah, that checks out.
And then I carried on with the rest of my day.
If you had
But,
asked me what your
I was
next
super
move was,
entertained by it. What's that?
I said, if you had asked me what your next move was after he flipped you off with the while he was itching his head, I would have said you laughing loudly, obnoxiously.
Well, I did think it was kind of funny,
right,
but also like, what the hell, guy?
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
you're
I
just trying
mean,
to be
now
nice.
granted, I did give him the loud "you're welcome."
Yeah, but he was
But-
asking for it.
He really was like, I was just only. That's what pissed me off, is I was only just trying to be nice.
Mm.
Like, you know, he could have said nothing, not even looked at me, whatever. I mean, but to look at me and like grumble something like pissed off, like I may have held you up for 3 seconds or less. I mean, seriously, that's just me, from not just from my biased opinion. That's just really, because I
It's
kind of
real
saw
life.
him coming up. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm like, oh shoot. Like, you know, I'm not trying to hold people up.
Right.
We're just walking.
We're just trying to find graham crackers here. You know?
You know,
I can't,
it's funny you
Yeah.
say that, because the older I get, the more I'm like that. So if someone doesn't hold the door open for me, this perfect example, 2 weeks ago, went out.
This is-
I am a lady, sir.
No, I mean, because you know, I hold the door open.
You're putting
for
your hand
people.
out when you go up a step to see if they'll help you go.
It's wonderful. No, you know, just a common.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like pull the door open, bow to me, and everything else, but like just hold it open. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
this person opens the door, apparently just slides right in, doesn't see me or anybody else coming. As it starts to close, I push it open. I go, "Thank you so much," and he turns back and he's like, "Oh man, sorry, man. I really apologize for that." As he had already seen me, so I know he
He's
was
going
just
through the
He
second door and
apologized.
just shuts it.
yeah. He only apologized because I said something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he wouldn't have said anything.
But that could have went the
Yeah.
other way,
Could have.
you know. Could have.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I always like, it's just common courtesy. You know what I mean? Like for your situation, like you were being like, that was common courtesy by you, you know, and just, I don't get what's going on with people these days. And the older I get, like the less tolerance I have for it too. You know, I just,
For sure. I mean,
Ugh.
it's just little things. Like I didn't even like I said, I didn't need him to say thank you or anything like that. I mean, me, if it would have been me, I mean, I know how I acted. I'd just be like, nod and be like, oh, it's
Right.
no problem, and just
Right.
go on with the rest of our lives.
Right.
You know, like no
Right.
big deal. Really, nothing would have been fine. But to like
Mhm.
be mad at me about it,
Right.
it just didn't make sense to me, and it pissed me off.
Well, yeah.
I feel that. I just
Yeah.
tell people you're welcome when they don't say, when I hold doors open for them.
Yeah.
They don't say thank you. I'm like, you're welcome. And they'll just
Yeah.
look at me.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always, yeah.
I'm a person too. Like you know, you can
I have
acknowledge me.
feelings.
I
I'm here.
literally did this for you.
Yeah. like some, like, you know, like if somebody's like a little bit ways and you just like stay there and hold the door open for them or whatever,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and they don't say anything, it's like, oh no problem. I just, you know,
That math
time
is
is
a little
expendable.
confusing though. You
You
know,
don't
like
have-
how
Confusing?
far away do you hold that?
I'm saying
Because like
like
you see
let's-
Yeah.
people from a distance, and you're like, oh, I don't know
it's
if
not
I-
like they're,
But
it's
then
not
you
like they're
just
at
go
the
in.
gas pumps and I'm just like, just wait, you guys come in yet?
You
Anybody?
guys,
Hey, pump 13, you coming in here?
I still got this door going.
I got this door. I'm just waiting for somebody. No, I'm like I'm thinking like you see like the pumps, and then they're like over halfway to the door, and you're already at the door, and you see them, and
For
like,
sure.
oh,
If they're on
I can
their
take a
way,
second. Yeah.
and you're talking within 4 to 5 seconds of getting to the door.
Yeah. They just walk around their car. I'm like, oh, let me get that door for you. No.
Sometimes I'll slow myself down on my way to the door if I see that situation coming up, just to be like, okay, I don't want it to be awkward long hold, but just so I get there at a decent time to where, because I know I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
At that point, you know.
Right.
But
no,
that was the only real event.
Yeah, no, I another example was Charlie, Kate, and I went to lunch one day, and
Charlie didn't hold the door open for you.
Charlie holds the door open a lot.
You're like, thank you.
She holds the door a little too long. It's just like
I used to do that
she'll
too
let
when I was a kid.
6 people go by, and it's like, Charlie, let's go. They're still like they're at pump 13.
I remember like holding the door open for people at Old Country Buffet and being like all the way at the back of the line while you guys were in the front. Because I was like holding the door open for everybody. But that's little kid stuff.
But so they weren't old ladies, right? But they would probably late 50s, and they had these scowls on their face, and they were right in front of us, and the lady opened the door and just let it shut. Didn't hold it. We were maybe 4 steps behind them. Charlie was like right there.
You at least gotta do the lean back and hold, right?
Yeah.
Or if you don't want them to get in front of you,
or just push. Like it looked like they literally just wanted to like have the door closed before he got in. Now, mind you, 30 seconds before that, Charlie had like run up onto the sidewalk, and they were there, but like it didn't impede them or anything. It just seemed like it annoyed them. So I opened the door. I'm like, thank you. I appreciate it. And Kate goes, William. I go, no, people need to be held accountable for their crappy attitudes. And then they did it again, and then they got sat, and then we got sat, and as we're walking right by the table, and the lady looked at me because I said something while they were in front of us too. I was like, man, it must be nice to just not be considerate of anybody. And Kate's just like, Bill, stop it now.
They're gonna be like, must be nice to get that senior discount today.
Oh, so the lady seat
discount. That's at least 8%. Like the level of your milk.
8%.
So we went to go sit down, and the lady saw me, and she just turned her head like this.
Oh, geez.
And turned away.
In shame.
Well, it's just like, it's like, and the thing is, like people that age, they want younger people to respect them, but then they don't respect the younger people. I don't know.
I'm with you.
The older I get, the less tolerance I have for it.
Mm.
And it could have been 2 dudes. It doesn't matter. It's just like we said, common courtesy. Anyways,
2 dudes the size of Dwayne Johnson. You still
like
saying
then it's like, why couldn't you hold open the door? Your biceps are huge. At least push the door open.
Like, why don't we talk about this door situation outside?
No.
No.
He's like, I'll Dwayne your Johnson. Like, whoa.
Oh, hey.
DJ, come on. We're boys.
Oh, man. So, Dean, what'd you do this weekend? What do you got?
I didn't do anything as far as I can remember, but I did watch a couple of clips that I thought were just, like I said, I'm pretty depressed. So but I did see a couple. I did see a couple of clips that one kind of annoyed me. It was the Lakers are complaining about not getting LeBron more fouls because he's averaging 5.7 free throws a game currently, and last year he averaged 5.9. So they're arguing with the league that he should get more free throws and more fouls. So that kind of annoyed me a little bit because it's 8 games into the season and he's averaging 0.2 less than he did all of last year per game. So that's I don't know. I thought that was embarrassing for the Lakers personally. But and then the other thing, I don't know if you guys knew this, was that did you know Wayne Gretzky was almost a Red Wing?
No, I did not.
He said before he went to LA, he was for sure coming to Detroit 100%. Like it was already, like he was pretty much, besides signing his name, it was like finalized essentially. But his dad was like, listen, Detroit already has Gordie Howe. They have, their Detroit cities. Like LA, be different. And that's why he went to LA instead of going to Detroit. And I was like, that guy, that guy. Ooh, given they were
go to LA
sweet.
Instead of Detroit, where you'll win more Stanley Cups.
Yeah, right. No kidding.
Be your own guy with less.
Wouldn't
Stanley
that have been
Cups.
sweet though to have freaking Wayne Gretzky on the Red Wings at one point?
You kidding me, dude?
With half the guys that they had.
Things don't happen the way they happen either. Like
obviously they don't have the same. Not all this. I think they would have about half of the same players.
Like, would we have the Iser plan?
Yzerman would have already been on the team.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? Like, then he's overshadowed by Gretzky. But he's not the captain.
Yzerman's still the captain.
He's still the captain.
Yzerman was already captain, bro. They're not going to take the C off of him.
For Gretzky?
I mean, I think Gretzky had to have known, like, if he was going there, he wasn't going to be the captain, right? I mean, if you're going to finalize and go there, and they got Stevie Y already established, already the captain, been drafted.
Still, it's Gretzky.
Progressed through there. It is the great one, but
I mean, I think you take a back off of Yzerman, it should be Gretzky, but I don't.
Yeah, you're going to take it off.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't see it.
I think even Yzerman,
I mean,
would have been like, yeah, I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's Gretzky. You know what I mean? It's Gretzky. I'll take the A. Give me the A.
Yeah, give me the A.
That's fine. But yeah, no, I thought that was that would have been cool, and I thought it was an interesting story. But yeah, other than that, I didn't do a whole lot this week.
Oh, my weekend, I was walking through the grocery store and some family was in the middle of the aisle and
and so I flipped this guy off into the back of my head.
Dude. I mean, whatever. I thought it was funny. I'm like, what the hell is this guy gonna do?
Right.
Yeah.
He's being the jerk, and he wants to be pissed off. I'm gonna make you more upset. That's my that's my thought process. MO, yeah. Yes, and in those situations, that's the first thing I was like, okay, look, I'm not mad about this, but if you're gonna be a dick, like I'm gonna make you more upset, and it's because you kept this going.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He was asking for it.
Now I'm enjoying telling it again.
No, it's a pleasant story for everybody.
My highlight was I went to Horrocks in Battle Creek for the first time.
First time?
Yeah, well, it's at the mall.
The new one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome store, by the way. Yeah, they had a live band playing. I mean, it's huge because it's in an old anchor of the mall.
Like Sears or something?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's JC Penn. Whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
And yeah, live band. You could walk around with a beer, free coffee. They had a whole bunch of stuff. They had a whole big thing of cheese for like $25,000. It was like $4,500 or 4,500 pounds of cheese.
It's a good weekend.
That's a lot of cheese.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
don't know
ain't
what I'm
poop.
doing.
I ain't pooping for a month.
I don't know, dude. You just need a couple daddies. It'll shoot you right out.
Oh,
Just give me
man.
a shot of liquor. It'll all come out.
Well, let's get into today's episode.
It's true. It's true.
Give me a hard boiled egg. I'll throw it all up. Don't worry.
Yeah, I ate the other one. Put a little mayo and mustard on it. It was delicious. It's like my own little deviled egg,
Yeah, I was gonna say a deviled egg.
essentially,
Mm.
or egg salad.
If you didn't catch last week's episode, feel free to check that out. So let's get into. That was so gross.
It smelled pretty bad. I'll give that to you.
Yeah.
It didn't smell good coming out of that package. It's like, ooh. It's like, I feel bad. I feel so bad.
I've had that exact brand many times.
Oh yeah, no, it was delicious.
I've pre-bought hard-boiled eggs. And yeah, I loved it every time.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I knew for him and me smelling it, I was like, oh man, that's not a great, like, if you don't like eggs, this isn't a great smell for you. You know what I mean? Like, I know what to expect, you know. It's like, oh. But it was relief for Bill because it wasn't a frog. So in the end, anything, it was good for him.
I think
That was funny.
I think I'm to a point though where I don't like. I could probably put like a small frog in my hand, like a little baby frog.
I would love to see it.
But like, for context, the video that you sent
Yeah,
was not more. Dean, you were the one that sent it.
yeah. The
Was
timing
not
of that.
more than like a day before, and this thing was bigger than my head.
That was even I wouldn't touch that frog. The video, I say,
Lumpy or
huge.
dumpy.
Oof.
Yeah, no, thank you. Anyways, let's get into the Lions. Let's get into the Lions. This weekend they play the Chargers. Chargers just came off a win against the Jets on Monday night. Pretty much, I think I checked the injury report. There's quite a few guys coming back after this bye, which is essentially what we wanted. Do you guys have any thoughts as to what you're thinking for this weekend and how things will turn out?
Well, I think the bias in all of us is that we think the Lions are
Right.
going to win. That's how I think the game's going to turn out. But if you want what I think about the Chargers as a whole, I think they're not a team that you can sleep on. Obviously, they're 4-4 right now, but I mean they're coming off that win on Monday night. Besides Mike Williams being out in their center, I mean their offense is at pretty much full strength right now. They're going to have Eckler, they're going to have Herbert, whoever their other receivers. I don't know who their other receiver. Oh, Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen will be there. I mean, he's big. Quentin Johnson.
Yeah.
But the real test for the Lions is going to be their defense. Chargers have a great front line of guys. They've got Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, and Morgan Fox. Combined, they have a total of 21 sacks on the year, and the team has 31 sacks in total. So, and we know how Goff is when he's under pressure. They're going to be bringing it. You know, Khalil Mack's no joke. I mean, we saw him. The Lions play him twice a year for. That guy's a monster. So we'll see. And then especially with, maybe Ragnow might be out again, hoping Jonah Jackson comes back. I did see that Graham Glasgow got the starting job at right guard. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's going to come down to O-line play for the Lions. For honestly both sides, because on Monday, Herbert got sacked 5 times. So, I mean, they have a weak offensive line. Ours may be getting healthy. We'll see. But they have a dominant front 4 guys. So we'll see how it goes. I think the run game is going to be huge, especially with Monty coming back. Then it'll help Goff out a lot, play action, get that pressure off of him. But, coming off a bye week and the Chargers playing on Monday, the Lions should be pretty well prepared for this. And, I imagine that they'll win. If you want to score, I wrote down 31-27 Lions.
I like it. Eddie, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. I mean, the Chargers, they're 4-4 going into this game. Yeah, I mean, they're 4-4 going up to this game. They're going to be pretty fired up. Last I saw, Lions are 2.5-point favorites on the road. For all the reasons Dean said, the offense is legit. For all the reasons Dean said, the defense is legit. You add in Derwin James in the back portion of that secondary. I mean, that's a tough team. They've got 2 consecutive wins. They just beat the Jets, the Bears. The preseason, I picked the Chargers to win this game. And we are about as healthy. Dan Campbell says about as healthy as we've been all year. I'm still going to go ahead and take the Chargers to win the game. Because it's hard for me. I think the Lions have a better team for sure. It's just one of those things where, and actually there was an ESPN power rankings thing I saw earlier today. The Chargers were like 7th or 8th, and actually the Lions weren't even in the top 10. I was surprised to see that. It was like some kind of power index thing. I don't know, but I was just looking for the Lions. I'm like, oh, they're not in their top 10 for that. But yeah, the Chargers were. They're like 7th or 8th.
They're on a run right now too. So,
but yeah, it's just hard because I think it's hard for me to say we're gonna go on a 6. If we win this, there's potential to win like 6 to 8 in a row, and it's hard for me to be like we're gonna win maybe 7, 8 games in a row. Because I mean, after this, we have the Bears, the Packers, the Saints, the Bears, the Broncos. Like those are all games I'm gonna say we're gonna win. So. That's the only reason I'm picking that. I got Chargers 28-24. I don't feel great saying it, and I'm not sure I actually believe it, but I just think looking forward, we're bound to lose, and this seems like the game to lose of all the games looking ahead. So
it's fair.
I guess that's where I'm at on
that. I would agree with you if it hadn't come off the bye. They've had an extra week to prepare. The Chargers are coming off Monday night.
Short week.
It was in New York or New Jersey, I guess, right? Too. So, I mean, that's not a big deal in today's age. I watched a like a quick TikTok of, I can't remember who the NFL player was, but I mean, they're back from a game in like 5 to 6 hours, including like getting snacks, going through TSA, everything. Just so I don't think that's that big of a deal anymore, but it is still a short week. The Lions got to watch them play Monday night against what I thought is a very good defense in New York. Zach Wilson, I think, still threw for 250. I didn't get to watch the game all the way. I went to bed, but Justin Herbert screwed me. I had a three-leg parlay, and I hit 2 of the 3, and Herbert didn't even pass for 200 yards. So
good defense.
Yeah, and so I look at that, and man, Eddie, I tend to side with you just because I don't know how Aaron Glenn's going to run the defense. You know what I mean? If he looks at Monday night and says, "Okay, we can do this," because I feel like for the most part, Detroit's defense is as good as New York's, right? I mean, maybe not better, but I would almost put them on par. It's not like Herbert's a running quarterback.
They're like the Giants. Yeah, they're pretty close.
Jets.
I know.
You know what I mean? They have a good defense. And so if I have no reason to think that he wouldn't be prepared for this game. So I'm gonna go with the Lions winning. And who'd you say was out on the line
for the Lions?
Yeah.
Ragnow could be coming back this week, and Jonah Jackson, I don't know if he's going to be back this week or not either.
Okay.
It
And then
sounds like
Glasgow's the
Jackson's gonna
starting
be
right guard.
playing.
Is he going to play? And I know
That's what it
Ragnow's
sounds
like
like.
questionable. So
I mean, what was his name? Awasiwa?
yeah,
Awasiwa?
the backup guard.
Yeah. He played pretty well. So you know, I think you're right. If they're gonna lose a game here in the next 2 months, I think it's gonna be this one. I will, but I do think that they'll have them ready to go. I think they'll pull it out. I think they'll pull it out. It's going to be close. It's going to be a close game. They're away. San Diego. Los Angeles is a good team, but I'll go with 34-28. 34-28. Lions. So
Oh yeah.
next up, let's get into a little bit of Red Wings hockey. And I mean, long season, we got to talk about them every week. For me, real quick, I watched them play New York last night.
Mm.
Wasn't great at all. I mean, going into the third, you might have the stats on it. I'm not sure, but I mean, I think it was like 18 to 9 shots on goal. At one point, it might have been like 15 to 5. It was New York. New York just looked like they pressured. And I've been watching, I've noticed teams that pressure Detroit tend to really, I just don't know how Detroit responds to that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if you guys even know what I'm talking about. I just feel like teams that put the pressure on them, Detroit doesn't handle well.
Right, because they're on them a lot.
I mean, pressure. It looked like it would be like, to me, if you compared it to college basketball, like a full court press the whole game. And it didn't look like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I turned it off a quarter of the way through the third. So I did see they scored 3 times, or twice or 3 times.
So they had a nice little go there at the end, but technical difficulties.
Eddie, I don't know if you agree to that. I don't know if I'm just way off base on that. It's just, I guess, my observation.
No, I mean, you're right. I think they're a team that's still trying to figure out their total identity, and maybe that's a cliche thing to say, but there's a lot of new pieces with mixed in with some of the guys that have been there. So I think they're still trying to work it out in their own way, and I do think they're still overachieving even with that. I mean, that was a big win over Boston the other day.
Mm-hmm.
That was their first regulation loss for Boston, and I really liked what I saw to those guys. Before the season, I was talking about we needed scoring. Obviously, we've gotten that. I was looking it up, and we've got 8 guys right now on pace to score 50 points or more.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we ended up with 2.
Right.
And I think when I referenced Boston last year, it was like, well, they have 8 or 9 guys with 50 points or higher. So I like what I've seen. Yeah, I mean, they're going to let you down a few times. I think they're still figuring each other out a little bit. And I'm not expecting them to win a Stanley Cup this year. I do think they should be a playoff team. If they can stay in the top 4 of their division, I think that'll be a good year, a real good year for them. And I like to see them in the playoffs. So, yeah, the Rangers game was a letdown based on having just come off that big win against Boston. But you know, it is what it is, man. I mean, it's sports, and they play a ton of games, so
Right.
we'll see what happens. But yeah, I would agree with you, Bill. When they're getting more pressure, they're not finding the right outlets. Because the thing is, once that clicks, that is a real dangerous team to put pressure on because of their ability to score. So
Right.
once they get that figured out, man, I mean,
Yeah.
it'll be real tough.
And
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, dude.
I just want to add this in because you guys already went over everything I was going to say anyway. So what I did notice going on your point with them being pressured is I've noticed teams were doing it while the Red Wings were on power play as well, and I almost getting goals while they were shorthanded. So to your point, I do know what you're talking about, and yeah, like Eddie said, though I think they're just they're still trying to figure out what their identity is going to be, and we'll see. There's a lot of the season left. So
Well, yeah, and yeah, I didn't even think to bring that up, but you're right. I noticed that on the power play as well, that teams that really do pressure them, they just tend to not how do I say it? Not adapt. Sorry, not adapt well to it. So early, like you said, 12 games in, it's what it is.
We'll see.
So going to a team now that's lost 5 straight would be the Pistons. Pistons are 2-6 right now. Can you tell me? Can one of you guys tell me who? Okay, never mind. I got it. I was gonna say who's all injured. It's Ivy Harrisonburgs. Boyan, sorry. Isaiah Livers. Monty Morris. that's the damn team.
Yeah.
No, Cade's look good. And if he can, I just want him to be healthy all season. Just if we can get a good full season out of him to where he can develop, that's a star in the making.
They keep losing games. He's going to get hurt real soon. He's going to be hurt for a minute, I think. It's just they keep losing. So we'll see if they turn that around.
Dean, what are your thoughts on the state of the Pistons as of right now?
Well, I'll say my tingle level is definitely slowed down quite a bit over a week, believe it or not. As you discussed, there's just been a lot of injuries to the team. I think the problem with that, even though there has been a lot of injuries and their depth is depleted essentially. And you said Ivy was hurt as well.
It says he's out with illness.
Oh, well, my point is that all of our best players are still essentially playing. You know what I mean? I'm glad these guys are getting minutes and they're all young and they're developing. But I mean, who hurt is better than the guys that are already playing? Besides Bo, I was going to say besides Bojan. He might not even be awesome when he comes back.
Morris would be a nice solid addition. Burks, who's been really good off the bench.
Well, I guess when I say our best players, I'm meaning more Cade, Duran, and Asar. Those are essentially, and Beef Stew, because the development of his 3-point shot has been.
Some would say throw Killian Hayes in there too if you're going off.
Hey, through 8 games, Beef Stew is cooking from behind the 3. All right, shooting 46% right now. The development has been great. You're muted, Bill, by the way. But I didn't know did they just pick up that Moutier guy or whatever his name was? So I'm dropping some major points against the Warriors there.
I was like, yeah. He played with them in the summer, and
Oh, okay. I recognized Roden, obviously. And then I don't know if you guys saw that they signed Kevin Knox as well today. I don't know if that really gets the meter going for you or not, but they got him, baby. Who would have thought they'd get him? Such a hot commodity out there on the free agent market. But yeah, so I mean, that's all I really have. I mean, injuries. I mean, it's been the development of the beef stew. It's
Well, Killian Hayes, they're playing
the
Milwaukee.
development of the haze.
He's 3 for 10 tonight.
Killian?
Over 2. Yeah, over 2 from 3.
That checks out.
So
he's been super disappointing offensively.
Who's Killian?
Yeah. He's a big body though. That's the one thing, is that he's a big body for a point guard. You know what I mean? Isn't he like 6'6", 6'7"? I mean, I don't know if in today's game that's a big point guard anymore, but I mean,
It seems
he's
big.
lanky, right?
6'5".
6'5".
So
I mean,
Eddie,
he
your
put up 20 the other night,
Yeah.
and I was like, damn it, because he'll put up like 1 or 2 of those games a year, and then it's just enough for Troy Weaver to just stay bought in. I think it's like,
Yeah.
dude, he just needs to take the L on Killian and move on. Like,
Just move on.
please, like the more Sasser plays, it's like, why is Killian getting these minutes? Especially if Ivy's healthy. Like, and then when Monty Morris comes back, I don't see where it makes sense. And they have Killian starting even when Ivy's healthy. That just part, I don't know. Maybe Monty Williams just really sees something. The Killian Hayes experiment is over, in my opinion, and
Is his contract
it's
up
time to move on.
after this year?
I mean, I think he's in the last year. I mean, after his 21-point game the other night, I thought for sure we'd be signing him the rookie max extension. Just on the game. I mean, you might as well at that point.
What if
But
they
it's like,
threw him a
dude,
beef stew contract?
A beef stew I don't even like that for Killian. Beef stew contributes much more all around.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Than Killian Hayes does. It's like, oh, Killian got 21 on a game we lost by 11. Like, sweet, dude. Like,
sweet, bro.
he's just I don't know. Like, he comes out of the game and Sasser comes in and like we start to come back. That's usually how I've seen a lot of this, like the flow of the game. Like, it's not just Sasser. Like, I'm not saying it's just because Killian's out, but there seems to be a different flow to the offense and defense, because you put Sasser and he's much more active on defense. The kid's a great catch and shoot 3-point shooter, which is something we highlighted in the after the draft. So, and he's held up to that. I think he just needs more time than Killian, and unless Killian can put up the 20-point game shooting 50% on a regular basis, which he isn't, obviously already tonight. Like, it's just, there's no.
I think it's because he's French.
Maybe.
That's why he doesn't mesh with the team. Like, they seem better when he's not in because he's French.
Do you think
You ain't Tony Parker, bro?
Do you think that's just Monty kind of easing Sasser in?
Probably, but I'm my whole hope is that they're trying to get Killian out there to maybe up his trade value. I know that's not what it is, but that's all I hope it is. Like, maybe they're trying to up his trade value, and
they're hurting it.
So I saw something where someone called on him.
Was it Bucks?
Just send him home
Spurs.
with
the Spurs. Oh, I think actually I did hear something about.
I think it was that. I think it was the Spurs, but that was like a month ago.
Yeah.
Oh no, I saw this was like yesterday.
But we'll take the call, Troy.
They can't get rid of him, unfortunately. They're just they got so many other. They got nothing. Like if we had some depth, maybe we'd throw him in a trade. But right now, he's our seventh best player.
But I do
dude.
agree.
I mean, bring up our other French guy, Cazelon, who played with us a little bit there in preseason. Another Frenchman. We'll move on from this one and bring in the other guy. He did pretty well.
Okay.
I do agree with you that when Sasser comes in, it is kind of a different feel to the team.
He's a
maybe
nice shot too.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, he plays great defense.
Really does.
You know, at least he tries.
Yeah.
In a league where you don't even try to play defense really anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
So, all right. Well, did you guys watch CMU Western last night?
Yeah.
I caught it when they were down. I started watching when CMU was down 21-7.
Gotcha.
And they had the ball. And so I was like, oh, okay. And then it was like, oh, okay.
So Western wins the Battle of the Cannon 38-28. Jace Bauer, you know, we were kind of texting a little bit last night. And he showed glimpses of being really good. You know, he was 14-27, 205, 3 touchdowns and interception. Marion Lukes had 21 carries, 147 yards, and a touchdown. Jace Bauer had 10 carries for 40 yards. Tyson Davis, I felt like he had more than 2 catches last night, but he had
Big
2
one.
catches. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No.
2 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. Hayden Wolf for Western, 25-36, 333, 3 touchdowns, interception. Jalen Buckley, 23 carries, 117 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Kenneth Womack, 12 receptions, 135 yards, and no touchdowns. Looks like I was looking to see because it felt like Western was getting pressure on Central all night, but they only had 2 sacks. So, thoughts from the game last night?
Yeah, it was just it was a tough loss for the Chips. I mean, they had they had that incredible third quarter where they outscored 21-zip to Western, and that led to a terrible fourth, which led to a loss. You know, it's disappointing because it's more than just a one adjustment game. You can't go into halftime, make that adjustment. You know, they started bringing the pressure in the third, which was nice. They mixed in a little more run actions on offense, and it set up some of those bigger pass plays. And then they just kind of just tried to keep doing that, and then Western adjusted back, and they lost. And so Justin from the Great Lakes Gridiron Podcast brought up to me today. I mean, especially if they lose to Ohio, is it time to move on from Jim McElwain? And I think the only reason you might consider that is if maybe somebody like Tony Anise agrees to be the coach, which would be a great get for CMU.
Yeah,
I think. You know, I mean, he's an older dude and whatever, but you know, the dude coaches his kids up, and
for sure.
He wouldn't be somebody that's like looking to make a move out of CMU either, you know. But that's if they lose to Ohio, they don't get bowl eligible, and I don't know how many other dudes you look to other than Tony Anise. But I don't know. I thought it was interesting to think about. It was a disappointing loss, a game that they should have won, a game to get yourself bowl eligible, and you know, a little retribution for losing to your rival last year at home. So it is what it is, man. You know, you lose to Lance Taylor, his first year as head coach. I don't know. It's just like all that stuff adds up, and it's just
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I didn't even think about Tony Anise, but I think he would be good for them. Get a little bit of fresh air, a breath of fresh air in there. He's got obviously a championship pedigree. I mean, at least that way it's a foot in the door for him. Like you said, I don't know if he'd want to leave from CMU. If he did, and it's not far away. You know what I mean? It's not a huge relocation. So, yeah, no, it was disappointing. They looked, for all the things you said, they looked great in the third quarter after they adjusted, and that fourth quarter, they just, like you said, they just kept doing the same thing, and it's like, dude, you got to change something up, switch it up. They did, obviously, you know. Um, I completely agree. I completely agree. If you lose, if you don't become bowl eligible, and after losing to Western the way you did, I say it's probably time to move on. And for what it's worth, it's funny you bring that up because there were times last night while I was watching the game where I was like, he doesn't even seem interested in the game. McElwain. There were times I'm like, he's not really showing any emotion. Where that's, you know, a lot of us get a lot of heat for this, but that was my problem with Caldwell when he was when he was the head coach of the Lions. There was no,
For sure.
there was no emotion. It looked like, and I will say this, he was a good coach. He's a good dude. I have nothing bad to say about him as a person, and I never have. But as a coach, he took that team to as far as he could take them. And I just felt like to be a head coach, yes, you want to be a player's head coach, but at the same time, you got to show something. Get your guys fired up. I don't know if maybe I missed it, but like going when Western went back up, it almost looked like he just gave up. I mean, I don't know how, I just didn't see emotion. And I feel like in that moment against your rival in a game that you need to win to become bowl eligible, that you didn't you didn't rile up the troops. Rally the troops, I'm sorry. Rally the troops. And then you add on to that the whole Connor Stallions thing and not knowing who's on your sideline. And you know what I mean? It's just kind of, I think you're right. I think you pretty kind of need to get someone else in there. But we'll see. Like you said, we'll see. I don't know. Dean, I'm sorry if
If
you
they beat Ohio, that'll help. But
yes.
they're not beating Toledo.
100%.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I didn't have anything. I just highlight what you guys had already said. I mean, it's tough to watch, and that third quarter was so good that you believed that they were just going to take the game from there. And then, like Eddie pointed out, it's a game of adjustments. You can't just make one adjustment at halftime and then expect it to work the rest of the game. You have to be prepared for those situations. I'm not a college football coach, but I imagine you have to have scenarios and situations.
Well, hey,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Dean, like you play Madden. If you ran a 4-3 blitz the whole game, the computer will even adjust to it. You know
It's
what I
true.
mean?
It's very true.
You just run the same thing over and over and over. Of course, they're going to adjust to it.
Yeah, exactly. And that was one of when I was good at Madden, that was one of the things I was good at, was adjusting to what the person really liked to do. Besides the point. But yeah, you have to make those adjustments. Western made that adjustment going into the fourth, and I mean, it showed. And it also seemed like the defense for Central Michigan, it seemed like they forgot how to tackle. It was just a lot of arm tackling out there.
Yeah.
And obviously in college, I mean, that doesn't work in high school, let alone at the college level.
Right.
So, I mean, and like I said, it paid off for them. So, good for Western. I mean, like I've said it every week, and we've all said it. They've progressed every week, and I mean, they were able to pull out a win when it wasn't looking good for them. So, I mean, good on them.
Right. Well, and also to your point is when they kept blitzing over and over and over, that defense just gets tired and tired. You know what I mean? You keep putting pressure on for a whole quarter and a half. That's where those arm tackles start coming in. Your defense isn't on the field, or your offense isn't staying on the field, and so. Yeah,
I also want to say this too is I do feel like Bauer and Luke's could easily get poached off of Central Michigan for next year. I think they're both good enough players to actually get paid, at a bigger college. I think honestly, when we watched the game last week, I was already thinking Bauer had a really great presence in the pocket. I mean, he tends to get away. I mean, he doesn't make the best throws all the time, but he's still 20 years old. Kids are going to do stuff like that. And that third quarter really, I mean, he looked really good in that third quarter, I thought. So I think there's a good chance that he gets poached and goes to a different team. Not necessarily saying it's going to be, I mean, if Peyton Thorne can go to Auburn, I think Jace Bauer can start for Michigan State today. Even though Hauser did play, but that we'll talk about that.
I was gonna say, I could see it, I guess, but man, I almost thought the opposite. Like I'm like, dude, like you're right. He had a great third quarter, but like the first half, I'm like, dude, we're.
Well, think of that on a really good team though.
True.
That's enough to win you games in college. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if he goes anywhere good.
No, I'm not saying he's going to Alabama next year. I mean, he's probably going to Vanderbilt or what I mean? Virginia. They're probably looking for a few players right now. So yeah. Maybe Rutgers.
Well, maybe Purdue will pick him up.
Purdue, Iowa. I could see him going to that.
Purdue. No, Purdue's got a quarterback that they'll be all right with. Speaking of Purdue, lost to Michigan 41-13. JJ 24-37, 335. Blake Corum 15 carries, 44 yards, 3 touchdowns. For Purdue, Hudson Card 12-28, 144 yards, touchdown, interception. Touchdown came with 13 seconds left. Tyrone Tracy Jr. 11 carries, 61 yards. So not really much to say on them playing Purdue. Another dominant performance against another subpar team. Real tests obviously coming this week when they go to Happy Valley, Michigan. That is. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what will happen with the defense, because this will be the first time they've really been tested. And Michigan's offense will be Michigan's offense. They're going to run the ball. They're going to try to wear you down. And, we'll see what happens there. But I'm really intrigued by the defense and how they play against a good team. All year it's been the Michigan D is suffocating. And they have been. They've been as advertised against terrible teams. No offense to Sparty. It's down here.
49-0.
I mean,
this is 6, man. All right. It's a solid record.
Hey, big win.
Big dub. Eating dubs.
So I'm sure you guys don't really have a lot. I don't even know if you guys will even watch the game, which I didn't even get to watch MSU. So yeah, no, I'm excited to see what happens this weekend. Yeah, mainly on the defensive side. And we're 3 weeks or 2 weeks out of no stallion signs. So it is an
what
interesting.
time was that game? Was that a midday or was that a
Michigan?
Yeah.
It's noon.
No. Last weekend against Purdue.
Oh, night game.
Yeah, I missed it because I was watching the Wings. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I was
I
watching.
watched it, but I watched the.
I was watching both. Yeah. It's
and I assumed Michigan was going to put it on them. So it's
right.
Yeah.
It'll be exciting to see. It's an exciting week if you're a Michigan football fan because you're playing someone good. This is your true test. You got the sign stealers over down south. Suckers.
Yeah.
We talked about this before. I don't care. I do not care if anybody steals signs. I don't care. Change them up. You do it just like TCU. You got the dummy call. Everyone does it. I'm so over it, man. I am so over this whole thing.
Well, again, at the end of the day, it's not if you do, it's how you do.
Right.
That's really the only question is we breaking rules or not. I mean, whatever else comes out is like whatever. It's they put a rule up there, you break it, you break it.
Well, and now you're right. Now it's become, will he be suspended for the sportsmanship clause or bylaw? And if that's the case, so be it. But
whatever, man.
Whatever.
I don't know. Michigan will be fine. They clean it up like a vacuum refurbishing business, and they'll be good to go.
Dude, he has no idea. His attorneys are on it. Okay.
I believe Corum doesn't know about it. I believe that. It's just, like I said last week 3 times,
Bizarre.
It's bizarre.
The whole thing,
dude. Every time,
crazy.
like I said, every time something else comes out, I'm like, this is weird. This is just getting more weird.
Crazy.
He got sued by his homeowners association for running a vacuum cleaner refurbishing business out of his house. Like, dude, what is your life? What is it? What was his life like? This is so weird. That wasn't even the thing Corum was associated with. He was associated with some housing thing out in the West Coast,
like Wyoming or something like that.
But in that story was about how Stallions was getting sued by his local HOA about the vacuum refurbishing business. Like, what is his life? Now it's a mess. But before it was like, what was he doing? This guy is something else, man.
Blake goes, I'm a clean person, but I don't know nothing about vacuum.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, man. Why would he get involved in that anyway?
Yeah. He's got this really lucrative
like, I know Dyson balls to a T. I want to get in on that. Let me invest.
They said the LLC only has Stallion's signature on it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I just thought it was funny.
It's crazy.
That's funny. That is funny to me. Like, that's not serious. That is just like, dude.
If it ever comes out, that's a book I'm reading. Like,
he can write a book. It'll be a long-winded one for sure. It'll be a 3-parter.
The Stallions
each 300 pages a piece. The Stallion's Manifesto and how to refurbish vacuums on your spare time.
Yeah, it's got a manual in the back.
What the hell, man? Crazy.
If anything,
Crazy.
it probably helps Michigan's case. In
Yeah.
my opinion, I'm like, this dude's also like involved in vacuums and whatever else he's got going on. Like he's clearly a little out there.
Like, hey, we don't know this guy.
Kind of like Harbaugh. Harbaugh's a little out there, you know.
Harbaugh's a little out there. That was
Eating
I was
bugs.
like, hey man, if
Is
you're
he eating
winning,
bugs?
it's whatever.
Harbaugh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a running joke.
Oh.
Yeah. TV caught
That's
him
a dude.
chewing one
He's
down.
a dude who's got something going.
Crazy, man. Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up because it's the first time. It's like, what the?
It's a little levity in the whole situation. To me, it is.
Ugh, just
Like the whole thing's crazy, and then this dude's also refurbishing vacuums.
where's HOA is suing him? It's just like,
This HOA is suing him, dude.
how do they even know?
They're
Oh,
probably like,
crazy.
well, clearly this guy is got some business going in his house.
He's
You know,
bringing
I mean,
vacuums
to his
every day.
credit, he only, he was only on salary for what, for $55K, which is a decent salary, but like, for whatever he wants to, he's obviously a very entrepreneurial, spirited young man, and he's like, I could also fix their vacuums. Why wouldn't I?
Why not?
When is
Let
he
me-
doing that?
Live little side business.
Off season,
I was
bro.
gonna say off season.
Oh yeah, I guess the off season.
He refers-
He's in
he
the locker
refers-
room just replacing bags on a vacuum.
Have you guys seen the new Sharks? Because they're
refurbishes
they get hair
vacuums
stuck
during
right
the
here
day.
and here.
Writes
He's like-
manifestos at night.
He's like, spill that chili on the ground. Watch it soak it right
Watch
off."
this, dude. Watch this.
Blake, watch this.
Blake, please.
I have a
Do you think I get you to
business
sign
idea.
this real quick about this vacuum? He's like, nah, dog, nah. I'll take that
Oh,
as a
man.
yes. Go ahead and put his name down.
Co-owner. Crazy.
Dude,
So crazy.
That's wild.
like, it is so crazy. It is so
Ugh.
crazy.
So, and I love, real quick to wrap that up, like, I love how the media just keeps coming out with these stories too. Like, where did they get that? Like, you know what I mean? Where did you find out that he was refurbishing vacuums? Someone's just doing a deep dive into Stallings, and he's
Well,
gone.
no, like there was somebody did like just a social media thing. Like somebody just found like his LLC. Like it was all just public stuff. So like
Alright.
obviously once his name gets out there, they're like, okay, it doesn't take much to just, especially if you're a reporter and you're trying to get a story, it doesn't
Right.
take much just to search him. And then like there's a public LLC, like Blake Corum's name's on that, and then it leads to a public affidavit, like in the court system, you're being sued. That's also public. So like he didn't hide anything ever. His Venmo
No.
transactions to his HOA
Really?
suing to everything else. Like the dude is the worst spy to have
Yeah.
ever spied, to his Groucho Marx costume at CMU. Like the dude is
I was
terrible spy.
watching something where they're like, he just has a polo of every team in his closet.
Polo and a hat, just waiting and ready.
The sunglasses with the fake mustache hanging down from the sunglasses.
Looking like the skinny number 1 head coach for NCAA football.
That is exactly it.
All right. Well, let's get into a clean program with Michigan State.
Oh, so clean.
Cleanest.
MSU pulls one off at home against Nebraska, 20-17. That moves them to 3-6 on the year. Caton Hauser was 13-20, 165 yards and a touchdown. Nathan Carter, 15 carries, 50 yards. Foster Jr., 4 catches, 94 yards and a touchdown. Tyrell Henry, 4 catches, 54 yards. Still nothing from Malik Carr, huh?
He must have shut himself down. Because I didn't even see him on the field. Yeah. I mean, he's probably like, I'm transferring. I don't know why maybe he's waiting to see who the coach is. But I think I'm surprised he didn't enter in the transfer window during that, like, anytime your coach gets fired, they give that automatic 30-day window. Fired or leaves, you have a 30-day window where anybody can transfer. I don't think the transfer rules apply. But anyway, yeah, I didn't even see him on the field.
Harburg for Nebraska, 12-28, 129 and 2 interceptions. Emmett Johnson, 13 carries, 57 yards and a touchdown. Dean, what do you got for this game? I like I said, I didn't get to watch it Saturday.
Well, I didn't get to watch it either. Come to find out this is a hard reality for me to realize is every time I don't watch Michigan State, like at all, like if I don't turn it on, nothing, like watch like a play or anything, they win. They've won all their games that they've won. I didn't watch a single snap of it live. So that's a little disheartening. Because I want to watch, but I just in their best interest. Maybe I shouldn't. It's me. It's my fault that they're losing.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I was glad to see Sparty get the win. I mean, but it was hard to tell whether or not they won or if Nebraska just kind of beat themselves. I mean, those picks. I mean, their quarterback play. That's really what it came down to. If their quarterback was just a little bit better, they probably pull that game off. Maybe I don't. It's hard to say. I mean, anything can happen in these games. Other than that, I mean, the Michigan State defense played really well. I mean, that obviously is a factor too. They're getting pressure a lot of the game. They had it should have probably been 3 picks if it wasn't for that pass interference call. So, I mean, they played well. I thought Hauser played okay. He had some nice throws. He also had some bad throws out there. I did see one where he kind of threw one up and it I don't know if it was just because it was deep or if it just it looked like he shot putted it straight into the air and it just slowly floated. I know it was incomplete, but I was watching, I was like, man, what the heck was that? It's like what was he? I don't know. But I thought he played pretty well for what the game was, and he had, like I said, he had a lot of really good throws. And then it got me thinking, with the possible Urban on the horizon, is it the coordinators or the players just kind of auditioning to try to stay? I don't know if Urban, if they were to get Urban or even another coach, right? Doesn't have to be Urban, but if he comes in like Dion, it's like you can transfer because you suck essentially. You know what I mean? Are these guys auditioning because they're not? None of them are going to stay regardless of who gets hired, coordinator wise, not players. But I was just thinking that overall, I was glad Michigan State won. I was glad I was wrong on our picks. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I did watch the game. I would probably 90% of it. And I mean, it was great to see the win. The seniors needed that win. Harlan Barnett needed that win. I think for his own pride, probably as much as anything. It was cool to see after the game him and his family. They were celebrating on the field and felt good for him, man. It was probably a really good moment for him and his family. And I don't hate the guy. He's trying, I think.
He got
He
thrown
tried more
into
this
it.
week. I think once you throw away that his compromising philosophy or whatever he was talking about before, where you hold people accountable, they will actually play more accountable, more disciplined.
I did see him bring his mic down one time too.
Yes.
It was on TV, man.
Yeah.
It was great.
I know.
It's like,
It was
wow.
well, I think that does say something because they were up 20-10, and it was I can't remember exactly, but it was kind of just a big misstep that led to that 20-17. And they didn't fall apart.
Yeah.
They didn't just completely, the wheels didn't totally fall off the bus, and Harlan seemed more invested, seemed more into the game. And maybe it's because of the last one at Spartan Stadium. He knows it's probably his last game at Spartan Stadium. Very possible.
For sure.
Mark D'Antonio just looks like the old grandpa hovering the sidelines. Like, it's a weird thing. Like, I don't know why he's still down there.
Yeah.
He's not talking to anybody. He's not, I don't know. Nebraska, they're an underwhelming team, so it's hard to be too excited about winning the game. But it was great to see. And, we'll see what it looks like moving forward. It's funny you brought up, Herbs. I don't have a big update on Urban Meyer this week, and I don't know what that means because it's kind of gone a little cold. I don't know if that's like a lot of information was kind of getting out there. So now they're like, okay, we need to shut it down to like just a few people, or it's legitimately cold. At the end of the day, I wasn't really sure he would be there. I don't believe he will be. I think I've said that a lot of times. I've talked about it like he's going to be, but I don't think he actually is going to be.
I agree with you.
It's just one of those things. Like, he's the ideal candidate for the job. And so thinking of that, I heard a name brought up today that is interesting to me. And I did a little looking into it because I think you got to start thinking, if you're not going to get Urban Meyer, you should be thinking
John Harbaugh.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
That would be
How do
the
you-
Harbaugh brothers.
In Michigan State situation, like, how do you get the next Urban Meyer? Because he was very interested in the Michigan State job back in the day, but he just didn't have those credentials, and they ended up hiring John L. Smith, and we know how that went, and we know how it went for Urban. So what you want is a guy who's kind of built a program, who's built some programs, who's kind of worked their way up. And if I told you I know an FCS guy, he's not an FCS guy anymore. But from this year, 5 and 6, this FCS program went. First year this guy was there, they went 10-3. That first year, he finished with a 35-14 record at that school. Then he goes to another school, Coastal Carolina. His first year there, 5-7. The next year, 11-1, where they actually lose the bowl game to Liberty, Malik Willis's last year. Then they go 11-2 and 9-3. Then Hugh Freeze at Liberty moves on. He gets hired to go to Liberty. What's Liberty's record this year? 9-0. Also a young guy, 46 years old, offensive innovator, Jamie Chadwell. Not a guy people are talking about, but a guy who's on the precipice of a Power 5 job. I mean, I just listed off what he's done, and he's in his mid-40s. An offensive guy. Like, that's where we get, like, I think he's worth the risk. A guy like that. Somebody, if you're not going to get Urban Meyer, the next best thing is somebody who could be. Right? Mike Elko's not the next Urban Meyer. Lance Leipold isn't the next Urban Meyer. Jonathan Smith, probably not the next Urban. You know what I'm saying? Like, those guys have been doing Power 5 jobs, and I like that about them as the next coach. But ideally, you get the next guy. And that's like catching lightning in a bottle, right? Nobody knew Urban was going to do what he did when he got to Bowling Green. Right. Nobody knew he was gonna go like 30-2 when he got to Utah in his
Right.
2 seasons there. But he did. And so if you look at like the things coming up, and this isn't just totally coming out of me just researching coaches, okay? This is a name I heard. But I was like, wow. Okay. And then I looked into it and then I'm like, wow, okay. That's legit.
Yeah.
Now, if you do something like obviously the guys at Michigan State who are currently there, if they hear the name Jamie Chadwell, they're probably gonna be like, all right, we're transferring.
Right.
But whatever. This guy has done this at 3 programs in a row. Moving up. And I don't know if he's on their radar, but I hope he is. It's just a guy who's showing success. I mean, he could be the next Michigan coach, but he's not a Michigan man, so he's out.
To your point, when you bring that up, a name that comes to mind besides Urban Meyer is Brian Kelly. Because Brian Kelly did the same thing. Started at Grand Valley. He's really good at Grand Valley. Went to Central. Central was really good. Went to Cincinnati.
Let's get Butch Jones too.
Cincinnati's really good. You know.
Yeah, well,
riding the Kelly coattails.
This guy. The one thing we got to remember too, and I try to adjust this, is like Mark D'Antonio was such a program hire, and you can't get caught up in too much of the stuff because I think he was like 18-17 out of Cincinnati, like his record at Cincinnati. You know, like he wasn't like blowing things away, but you know, I remember when he got to Cincinnati, it wasn't great, and then they were doing good. But we get caught up in a lot of the stuff. I do, especially. But I don't know. You got to just be forward thinking, and you just hope that whatever the next coach is at least bring in some kind of credentials. And if they're going to go outside the box a little bit, I don't even think this is that far outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, I just hope they're looking into him.
Right.
A little bit. We need offense, man.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you something. Straying away from, I don't know if you have any more thoughts on Michigan State at all.
No.
That'll be interesting to see. I like that. I like how I think that might be the way to go. It's kind of I would say, I mean, yeah, it's Urban Meyer, but man, if you can get someone like that, it'd almost be better than Urban Meyer.
Could be.
Or
that's the thing.
Could be
Urban
right. Could be
is
right.
You're going to be good next year. You're probably going to win 8 games next year, 8-9 games next year, and you're looking for. But this guy is more like, if you can't get Urban, it's worth taking a shot at for like maybe the next decade.
Right.
Or you pass up on Urban again. He goes somewhere else and turns them into a national championship program again. And we're like, oh,
yeah, helps another school.
We got another John Smith. Dang it.
Yeah, who's ever super interested, maybe we should think about that.
Yeah, maybe we should.
All right. Well, switch topics on you guys. I got a question for you. Dean, what is the sexiest and least sexiest name to you?
Name?
Yeah.
He's gonna say Dean. He almost said Dean.
Clearly
Girl name.
The sexiest is Dina, and I don't know. I don't really. The only I could tell you the least sexiest name, and that's our mother's name. I could. There'd be no way. There'd be absolutely no way.
That is such a good point.
That's the least sexiest name in my mind. No offense. No offense. There'd be no way. The most? I don't know. Strawberry? Candy?
What?
Rachel?
The sexiest name you could get an STD with? Bro. What is wrong with
I'm
you?
just throwing out words now. I don't know. The name doesn't
Destiny.
really doesn't. I worked with a girl named Destiny. Weird.
I know a girl named Destiny.
I do too. She works on Wednesdays. Just kidding. I don't have time to go to the strip club.
Bill, what
Eddie,
about
and
you? Not named Kate.
Least sexiest name? For whatever reason, I've been thinking about this for like the last 10 minutes. I keep thinking Bertha. Like Dean brings up a very good point. But for whatever reason, Bertha just sticks out in my head as the least sexiest name.
Yeah. We know somebody
Gertrude.
that married a girl that has the same name as his sister. Could you do that? Now she is the exact same name as your sister, besides the middle name.
Yikes!
How do you feel about that?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be too down for it. We don't have a sister, so I guess I don't.
it'd be like if I married a girl named Eddie.
I love how her Adam's apple like really sticks out.
Yeah, I don't like sexy name is just there's so many. I don't know.
I've never even thought of a name as sexy.
That's kind of where I was at too. It's like when it comes to names, that doesn't really turn the needle for me.
Right. No,
So,
I just
you know what? We'll go with Rachel because of Friends. Because of Jennifer Aniston. So I'll go with Rachel.
for whatever reason I keep thinking, and it's weird, but I keep thinking like Taylor.
Hannah?
Yeah.
Whoa.
If you're listening, Taylor Hannah, you sexy beast.
You're so sexy.
Yeah, the least sexiest is a lot easier than I think sexy would be.
For sure.
So, Eddie?
That was an instant answer for me. I was like,
That's tough, man. That's real tough.
Yeah.
A sexy name. Vanessa, I guess. I don't know. Like, I've never met a really attractive Vanessa, but the name sounds nice.
Vanessa
Right?
Hudgens.
I was trying to think of like pop stars I was like attracted to as a kid or something, you know. But then I was like, something wrong? Because I was gonna like Tony Braxton. I used to think was just the hottest.
You're like Tony.
Tony. I'm like, I can't say Tony because it wasn't her name.
Tony, but spelled with an I. Spelled with an I.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Tony and
okay.
Least sexy. I mean, you guys are both right. I mean, there's tons of unsexy names. I'll go with Shirley because of our grandma, I guess. Like that wouldn't be. I wouldn't be into that.
Right. That's fair.
You know, I don't know. Like you said, I don't really. I'd have to hear it. You know, it's the person more than the name. So
that's also true.
Okay. I can't. Yeah.
No, I was just scrolling.
Like Tony
through,
Braxton made the name Tony. Like she made that very sexy. But the name Tony is not.
Right. Yeah.
What if I said Billy? Billy.
If it was Billy Braxton and it was her, I'd be into it still.
Yes. It's like the sexiest name is Billy.
Billie Eilish.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
All right. I was scrolling through questions and I thought that was a one to make you
Sexy.
think. Yeah, it's so sexy. So, all right. I could ask you, what does love mean to you? That's what we're going to do. Sports talk.
Trying to get deep.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. Well, I think that will do it, fellas.
Comment your sexiest names down
It's
down
weird
below.
because yeah, comment your sexy name.
How about real briefly, Tigers news. Traded for Mark Canha. I mean, that was nice.
Yep.
I thought that was a good piece.
Good start.
Old dude,
Sweet
older dude. It was nice. I think it's good for like the trade deadline going into next year. Like you could trade him for a prospect, or if we're not doing well, or trade him first. Also trade him if we're doing well for another piece.
Either way,
Either way, you could trade him, or I mean, I just think he provides a lot of options. I thought that was a nice trade.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Big piece.
Solid veteran bat in the lineup. It's exactly what we need.
Yeah.
Bring back Miggy.
He's replacing the Miggy's bat.
He's replaced the Miggy's bat.
All right, so next week Eddie is going to be hosting again, and maybe a game.
A game? I'll be keeping score. That's for sure.
Well, guess I lost. He's not gonna make him eat 2 eggs.
Let's see. You are down already.
Be on the lookout for that. We'll have our pick'em episode coming out in a couple nights. And
come out before this.
Well,
yeah.
It'll be.
You'll have seen it already.
We hope.
And if you haven't, go check it out.
Yeah, go check it out.
Yeah, hit our parlay.
Yeah, hit the parlay.
I won some money last week. I did pretty good betting.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh yeah, betting. Anyways, that's for the pick'em episode. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next week. And you guys have a good weekend.
Sports Talk.